fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing, brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Ducket Fishing, pro-driven. Raymarine Electronics, Raymarine, simply superior. Pro Sports Boats, tame the waters. I love fishing in the summertime. You know, it's August, it's about 80 degrees out, and it's only about 10 a.m. in the morning. And you can probably hear motors in the background. I've got boats around me. I mean, this is when you do most of your fishing. People are taking family fishing holidays. They're all over. The kids are swimming, fishing off the dock. Well, today I've decided to take advantage of the nice prime weed growth that we have, and I'm going to be crankbait fishing. I'm using my fish finder to locate some humps and weeds, and I'm using the electric trolling motor to hold us on the spot. So we're fishing in about 7 to 8 feet of water, and the weeds are coming up, in some cases to within 2-3 feet of the surface. So they're coming up right up to about 4 feet, which is perfect for the crankbait. When I get a hit, you can see me put my back into the fish. You know, the electronics are so important. It's one thing to know, you know, the fish's habits, where they're going to be feeding, but it's so important to have a really good fish finder. We're running 2 Raymarines. You can see on the front one here, this is the actual fish finder mode. You can see the weeds here. We're just off the edge, and here is the weed patch that we're fishing right there. Haven't seen this fish yet, but I got a feeling it's another nice walleye. Look at this. What a gorgeous walleye. Looks like a shark. Oh! I got the net right here. I'm just getting it ready. I don't think he's ready yet. Look. He just came, big boil. You know, I'm laughing because I'm just impressed. When you put everything together, when you've got the right electronics in the boat, you know, you can get these gorgeous fish. Oh! Fight so nice on this medium action gear. You don't have to get up early. I tell people when I fish with them, 10 o'clock is fine to get out. Man, this guy's got a ton of fight. You know, some walleyes are a pushover. They just come on top and they don't fight much. Other ones have so much stamina. Come on. I got the wind blowing the net into the... Oh, no. Oh, no. That's what you're not supposed to do. See what was happening here? Because of the current that the wind is creating, this isn't a deep net. They actually call it a shallow net. The bag actually got pushed towards the fish. So the bag, not the hoop, was closer to the fish. When I went to net it, the hooks got caught on the outside. Look, right there. Isn't that a gorgeous fish? Oh, tons of power. You know, I make it look easy, and when you put all the ingredients together, it actually is. But also, I gotta be honest with you, I've been fishing this area for about 55 years. So I've eliminated a lot of water, and I found some really nice water. But this is what we're talking about here, beautiful summertime walleye, just casting crankbaits. When it all comes together, I'm telling you, it's priceless, just like those Visa commercials. Now, you know, when it comes to casting crankbaits, I pretty well always go with a braided line. 20 or 30 pound test braid, because just so you know, the line diameter of 30 pound test braid is about 8 pound test monofilament diameter. But another line that's really important is the leader material. So what I've got here is 3 spools, and this is 100% fluorocarbon. You see I've got a 10, a 15, and a 20. Today I've got rigged up 20 because I can get some pretty big walleye, and sometimes you get some pretty big pike, you know, over 36 inches in size. So some people say, you don't need fluorocarbon, you know, or whatever. I find that fluorocarbon is important for a couple of reasons, and I'll show you here on this rig that I've got rigged up here. Okay, so I've got my main line, and I use a blood knot right here to connect my fluorocarbon to my braided line. Then I've got about 2.5 feet of 20-pound test fluorocarbon. No snap, because these tail dancers come with a split ring. So I've tied a trilene knot right to the split ring. So I find, especially with these lures are pretty light. They're balsa wood. And even the other ones, the Dives 2 flat series, are balsa wood. I find that a lot of times when you're casting into the wind, the lure will tumble over itself. And if you tie your braid directly to your lip, a lot of times the hook will catch the braid. And then that cast is done. You know, you just reel it in real quick, try to untangle it, cast again. I find because the fluorocarbon, you can see, has some memory, it's kind of stiff as compared to the braid, which is like string, so it's got no memory. It's really good for not having the hooks catch it in mid-flight. The other thing is that it is very abrasion resistant, and it is clear. Now, today we've got an algae bloom, which is common in the Great Lakes, especially if you're fishing Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, in the shallower water areas. We've got the algae blooms. So the fish, I don't think, would mind seeing even the yellow line, they'd still hit. But I just have more confidence when I use a fluorocarbon leader. Now, I don't go too long of a leader because I don't like reeling in past the knot. So whether I'm using my bait casters or whether I'm using my spinning outfits, I try to go with the fluorocarbon leader, and I carry different weights, those 3 different weights with me, because I find that it really helps not to get tangles, and I think it actually, increases my chances of hooking fish. Closed captioning is brought to you by K100. We make water burn. I'm really impressed with the rod carrying system that I've got in the boat. I have the same one in Florida, only it's in a white color. And I've got some that are for 5 rods, some that are for 3 rods. It's such a smart idea for a couple reasons. One, you can see that you can put any type of rod butt inside here where the rod holder are. This one has the bungee. I'm pointing at it with my shoes. It has the bungee, so there's no way that it can pop out. Most of the time, I don't even use the bungee. But what I like about it is that it keeps the rods at the right angle and keeps them separate. So you can see here, look, I've got 2 crankbaits, and I've got it's got magic minnow here. And I'll put the other rod, I can put 2 more if I want there. They don't get tangled up, and they're not in the way when I'm fishing. God, feels so good when they hit like that. Yes, it's a nice walleye. Did he hit better? Yeah, this one's looks like he's got the hook a little bit better in his mouth. The walleye fights aren't long. I mean, these are nice sized walleye. He might even throw those hooks. I'm just going to hold them in the water because I don't want to get them up too green. You can see that the water is like a stain color. That's one of the reasons why that hot chub color works so well. There. I released that first one. Oh, look at that. He unhooked himself. So let's see how long he is. I'm going to go in inches. He is 19 inches. Perfect eating size. And he's back in the net. So I'm just going to turn the live well on because we're going to keep a bunch of fish for eating. And I'm just going to move this over. One of the things that I love about the walleye, I'm just going to hold him up again for you to see it. Now, notice the way I'm holding it. I don't have my fingers in the gill rakers. I'm going to be keeping this fish for eating anyway. I've got it just underneath the actual gill plate. But look at how bright they are. In Quebec, they call them doré, which is literally, gold, like a goldfish. And you can see why. When they're in the weeds like this, I find that they get really nice and bright. They're such gorgeous fish and predators. And the reason I've been missing some fish is because they've got a very bony mouth, and if they don't grab 1 or 2 of the trebles, sometimes you just don't hook them. These rods are so sensitive, and the braid, I just had a hit. Ah, look, it's one of the smaller members of the perch family. Now, why don't I hook walleye like that? Look, he's got all 3 hooks from that treble hook. Come on. Feels nice and heavy. I don't see a lot of head shakes. That means that it might be a better quality walleye. Hopefully he'll stay on. It looks like he's just got the back treble hook on. Look, isn't that a gorgeous fish? Boy, it's a mammoth. Come on, I don't know if it's ready yet. And those hooks are sticking out. I got it netted head first. Good fish. A little bit closer. Come on. And in the net. Oh, you know what? He was just tagged by one hook. Let me just get that out there. And I'm gonna hold him up for you to see. Man, these are beautiful fish. They're such great predators. Oh, good thing I've got a good hold on it. Isn't that a gorgeous walleye? Can you see how big their mouths are and those teeth? Man, if you're a small fish, you'd be snapped up so quick. And I love this one has, look at all the vermiculations on the top of the head. See all the vermiculations? Beautiful. You know what, if you haven't tried it, try casting crankbaits in the middle of the day. You can get nice trophy walleye just like this. Raymarine Electronics. Raymarine, simply superior. Oh, what a smash. Man, it's got to be another nice walleye. You know you're in a good spot when you've got the anchor mode on the electric and you cast in different directions, and within, 20 minutes, not even half an hour, you get 4 or 5 walleye. Nice fish, beautiful fish. Okay, I'm gonna get him in the net. I felt the tap and then he smacked it. Okay, maybe he's a little green. Okay, I'm gonna get him up here. Fit in my comfy chair here. Look at how yellow he is. Isn't that a gorgeous fish? He's beautiful. You know, and I haven't seen anybody doing this. We saw quite a few boats earlier this morning. We've got a boat fishing off of us here. I don't know if they're using jigs or what they're doing or using live bait. If they only knew just casting crankbaits, they can get these gorgeous walleye all day long. You know, when I think of how simple I'm fishing, I'm using a one piece. This is a 6 foot, this is actually a 7 foot medium light ducket. It's a walleye rod. And I've got it rigged with a medium action reel. And I put this nice yellow line so I can see it when I'm casting, especially when I'm going through the weeds and stuff. It's that braided line, the suffix 832. And then this is the lure. Look, you know, I talked earlier about using the tail dancer. This is the Dives 2, but it's the flat series. And I say flat, you can see the configuration. It's not a wide-bodied bait. And also, it has that, it's like a coffin lip. So it doesn't have a round lip like a tail dancer. It actually has the edges cut off. And this one is called the Dives 2 3 feet, but it'll go down to about 7-8 feet if you make a long cast. Oh, this one hit right at the boat. Actually, I saw it. Unbelievable. It's just amazing. Middle of the day, August. Man, they're such beautiful fish. I love to see that white spot on the tail. I just wanted to get fought out a little bit before I try to net them. It's funny, sometimes one hook will come out and then they'll get another one in their mouth. Such healthy fish. Look at those teeth. This guy's about 20 inches. He's actually perfect eating size, so I'm gonna put him in the live well. Isn't that amazing? Middle of the day, nice hot summer day. You know, I've gone fishing a lot of times where I'm in such a rush and I forget to take pliers with me. And I'll tell you what, it's a mistake, because that's when you get hurt. It doesn't matter if you're fishing for walleye or other fish, even trout, especially pike. You want to have pliers and long nose pliers. So, you know, these are just your standard, I think they're 6-inch pliers. They're not very expensive. This one has a lanyard. So, you know, if you're gonna unhook a fish over the side of the boat so you don't lose them, you open by just pushing the ball, you put that around your wrist, you know, and then you close it again. So it's a really good idea, because I've lost my share of pliers where a fish thrashes and your pliers go out of your hand. This way, at least you don't lose them. So there is a reason why they put a lanyard there. But if you look here, this plier has a beak on the top. And it's really handy because that's for a split ring. So if you ever have to change a split ring, like the hooks on your lure, or even the split ring that's at the front, you can use your nails. A lot of times you'll chip your nails. So it's really handy to have that little beak there. And also most pliers have the wire cutters right here. You can see them right here. And they're nice because we're not using wire, but you can cut the fluorocarbon really easily. The braid isn't as easy to cut, so you have to use scissors. Now the other pliers that I have, you can see both of them are experienced, by the way, because they've got rust stains on them. But they're, you know, they're in pretty good condition. They're still flex. This one doesn't have a beak, but you can see that it's got a little bit of a curve. And that sometimes helps when a treble is in deeper and the shaft of the treble is close to the jaw of the fish. So you can actually keep the pliers out, grab the actual shaft, push it back and get it out. So both pliers work really well. I don't find I need really big pliers when it comes to walleye fishing. For pike I do. Some of them are like, you know, up to maybe 8-9 inches long. Rod Runner Canada, grab and go fishing. Oh, I love it. Look, you can see the rod bend. Just the nice head shakes. Wonder if it knows it's hooked. It's amazing with these medium action rods. Oh, that fish is out almost on top. Now you can see when it wants to dive, I'm actually putting the rod down. I'm bowing to it because I don't want to loosen the drag. Even that 1 to 3 feet makes a big difference when it wants to take off. I try to have a pretty tight drag. Like right now, the drag is pretty tight. It's nowhere near breaking point, but I want to make sure when I set the hook on any fish that has a hard mouth that I get the hook in it. Okay, last time I made the mistake of being upwind. I'm going to try being downwind this time. Yeah, good luck. Did I mention some of them fight really hard? Okay, up there. Come on, turn around. Get into the net. Okay, that was done better. Oh, you know what? This might be one of the heaviest ones. Oh, look at, what a walleye. I'm looking at that mouth with all those teeth. You can see their big eyes. They can see so well, even under low light. Man, are these fish healthy. Look at how thick that fish is. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, time to get the hook out. Just gotta get one of my pliers. Very important to have these. You don't want to stick your hand in there. I'm actually using, look, I'm using the beak to hold it and to push it back. So it works really well. And put that over the side. One more look. Crankbaiting walleye on weed lines. One of my favorite ways to catch them in the middle of the day. I've learned that when I go out fishing to stay focused. I don't take a lot of tackle boxes. So I take a carry bag like this, which is really handy because in it I have satchels. So you're gonna see here how I plan my trips. The most important part, some pepperette, some jerky. Anyway, that happens to be on top. I did get hungry, so I had a couple. But here, I'm gonna show you the boxes. Look, I've got 3 boxes in here. One is for twitch baits if I decide to go for bass. And I'm trying to have self-control, just stick to walleye. One is the Dives 2 series, that's right here. But I'm gonna talk to you about the Tail Dancer series, that's right here. And why I have the different sizes. So these are them right here. The one, and this one's got a lot of battle scars. The one that I've caught the most fish on that I just landed, you know, a few nice fish, is this number 9 Tail Dancer. And you can see this guy has had a lot of experience. I mean, I run my fingers over it. It's got so many teeth marks that the paint is coming off. You can see that it's cracked at the back because of fish thrashing, because walleye, especially when you get them in the net, have a lot of torque. But you know what? It still works. So this is the 9 centimeter. And I also have some smaller ones that are, this is the 5 centimeter. If I can get them untangled. The one thing, you know, when you put a few crankbaits together, can I get one out? Someone, give me a small tail dancer. Believe it or not, even a large walleye, when it's feeding on smaller bait fish, and I feel that these tail dancers resemble perch. Depending on the size of the perch, this is what they're gonna go. There's the 5, and I'm looking for a 7, okay? So there's the 7, okay? So look at the 3 sizes here. Okay, you can see the progression. They're kind of the same colors. They're like, this one's kind of a gold off yellow, but these are the hot chub. Now, believe it or not, size does make a difference. My all-time go-to is this one right here, the number 9, because it'll dive down on a long cast to be about 12 feet. If I hold the rod tip up and make a short cast, I can run this lure about 7-8 feet below the surface. This one, even on a long cast, will only go down about 5 or 6 feet. This one, of course, will only go down a few feet, 3 or 4 feet, because it's smaller. I'll tell you what, when it starts to get low light and those walleyes cruise in on top of the shoals and reefs, even in the summertime, in like 3 feet of water, that size is perfect. Look at how gorgeous this fish is. Because the water's warm, they're not fighting too hard, and that's okay. It's got the back end of that bait in his mouth. I tell people you should always wait until the fish is a little bit fought out, and then when you go to net it, never chase the fish. You know, try to go with the net by the tail. Always try to get the head in first. But in the case of like using a crankbait that's got a couple of hooks, you got to be pretty sure that you're not going to get the hooks caught in the net before the fish get in the net. Because again, in my younger years, I've lost fish where I've actually went to net them. The lure's gotten caught in the net, fish thrashed a couple times, and then it gets off. So you don't want that to happen. There we go. So he wasn't going to get off. Look, he's got one hook right here in the roof of the mouth. And that tail dancer, I like all the teeth marks on it. There, one. And he got tagged under here. And you know, besides being a lot of fun to catch, especially on crankbaits in the middle of the day, you know how good these fish are going to taste? You can do them different ways. Actually, the last time we had walleye, they were just pan-fried, and they were delicious. Look, isn't that a nice walleye? Gorgeous. Again, perfect eating size. I'm going to say 19, 20 inches. Beautiful fillets. But I think the favorite way for me to enjoy them is just deep fry them. Use a light coating. You can use flour if you want, or do your own, you know, custom one with cornflakes and different things. And fillet them, cut the fillets up into smaller chunks, deep fry them. They are amazing. What a wonderful fish that you can get pretty well all year long. The only time that the season's closed for them is in the spring when they spawn in many locations. It's usually that April, you know, middle of March to about the beginning of May that they're allowed to do their spawning. But they're such a great game fish. Very good predator. They grow large, you know, but these are perfect eating size. And you can get them in the middle of the day. That's what I like. Canadian Sport Fishing, brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Ducket Fishing, pro-driven. Raymarine Electronics, Raymarine, simply superior. Pro Sports Boats, tame the waters. The one thing I've come to appreciate over the years is using one-piece rods. Now, in some cases, you know, if you're like using steelhead rods that are like 9 to 15 feet long, you can't use a one-piece. But in Europe, they do. But for like spinning outfits, you know, 6.8 right up to like 8 feet long, they're amazing. They're so sensitive.